Yes lads, Fady here. So today I've got the 4-1-2-1-2 bracket 2 formation review and breakdown, all that sort of stuff. This formation is, I'd say, a lot more effective this year than it was last year, even though towards the back end of last year it was more usable. Very good formation, like I did last time. I'll go through all the custom tactics. I've got 5. I've got the defensive, ultra defensive, balanced, attacking, ultra attacking, and different styles you could use to play. And at the end of the video, or towards the end of the video after that, I will be showing you sorts of players which work well in these sorts of positions. Again, they might be quite similar to the 4-4-2s, but they're just kind of the meta players and OP players at the minute. But yeah, I'll jump into the custom tactics right now. So here's the custom tactics. I'll start with the balanced. So we've got the width on 5. Like I said, I don't really like to play around with width, but playing around with it when you're going on to attacking styles in this formation is pretty important in my opinion, and we'll get into them in a little bit. So yeah, width 5, depth 3. Again, these are fairly similar to the custom tactics of the 4-4-2, these balanced ones. I find these ones to be effective with both. The only main difference I'll find is the players in the box. I've upped that to 5, because that way if I'm running with, let's say, your right centre mid or your left centre mid down the wing, or even your full back, in the middle you'll be pretty much guaranteed to have your 2 strikers and attacking mid. Failing that, your attacking mid might sit on the edge, and maybe it'll be your other centre mid or something who joins in the box. And corners obviously keep on 3, free kicks 3. Again, this is all preference. And then with instructions, so fullbacks for balance, I'd put on stay back while attacking, just so you have the like the balance in defence. Your CDM, I'd have stay back while attacking, cover centre, because this is kind of, I find the CDM in this formation to be one of the most important positions, because he links everything together from the defence to the attack. Everything sort of goes through him. Like he'll then play it to either the attacking mid or the centre mids, who then move up the pitch, stuff like that. So yeah, stay back while attacking, cover centre on your CDM. Your right centre mid, I'd have this as more of your all-rounded type player, maybe like a Musa Sissoko or something like that. So you just keep it all on default. In my opinion, that works well, because then you don't want them to be just sitting back all the time, but you don't want them to not be joining the attacks, if that makes sense. So with your left centre mid, I'd put get into the box and the rest on balance, because this is going to be your more attacking minded player. So let's say for example you go Premier League and you have Pogba, Sissoko, Kante. You'd have your Kante at your CDM, your Sissoko at your right centre mid, and your Pogba at your left centre mid. Because you just want someone who's more attacking minded, maybe even like a Gareth Bale or something like that. And then with the attacking mid, I've put get into the box. So for the same reason, I've put the attacking players into the box, or players in the box on 5. So your cam will be will be getting into the box. Say your right centre mid or left centre mid goes down the wing. Also, just mentioned, get into the box on your left centre mid means they'll be pushing up more than your right centre mid. Obviously, because they're both on balanced attack, but you'll just notice that because they'll be making more forward runs to get into the box. And both your strikers on getting behind, stay forward, because you don't want them really filtering back in your balance. You always want to be able to have at least 2 people up there to counter attack your position. We'll start from ultra defensive and work our way to ultra attacking this time. So for ultra defensive, again like last time, you just want real low depth, so 1 depth, players in the box 1, minimal players you want in that box, corners 1, free kicks 1, long ball, just so you know you can then just hoof it over the top or something. You don't, if you're playing like this, you don't want to keep possession, basically is what I'm trying to say. You just want to trying to get rid of it and keep it in the corners, stuff like that. With the custom tactics on this one, I've got stay back while attacking again on both fullbacks. The CDM though, I've now put drop between defenders. Now the reason for this is because then both my centre mids are on stay back while attacking. So that basically means they'll act as pretty much two CDMs. So then you might as well get your actual CDM to drop in and play like a bit of a centre back, but he'll still sit just in front of them, just so you know it's easier to. I know you're more structured that way, I'd say, in defence. You're also then saying to come back. So again, this is more like you have like two CDMs and you have like a centre mid there, essentially when you're defending, and the two strikers I have getting behind and then come back, because again you just want everyone in your defensive half. You don't want anyone to be bombing up the pitch unnecessarily, staying up the pitch unnecessarily even. You just want to be sitting there holding on to the lead, maybe 85th, 90th minute, something like that. And we'll move on to my more defensive one. Now this is fairly similar to the balanced, apart from this is 2 depth and then players in the box 3. So the players in the box, so your centre mid and sometimes your cam won't be getting into the box, so again you're more set up in case you lose, you don't make anything off the cross and then you get counter attacked, stuff like that. So the balanced attack as well, I don't know, I just find it to be very effective. It's just the way I play, to be honest. Possession I find too slow with players making runs. Fast build up, again, especially if you're holding on to a lead, you don't want to be having players bomb up the pitch. Long balls alright if you want to hold on to a lead, and then balance is a bit of everything, to be honest. Like it says there, it just maintains the formation. Yeah, and then depth 2, you want everyone behind the ball. Width, again, I haven't played around with. Corners you still keep on 3 in my opinion, but again it's preference. Free kicks I've dropped down to 2. Instructions, stay back obviously on both fullbacks again. CDM I have dropped between defenders because I have my right centre mid on stay back while attacking, and the left centre mid is just again balanced. He doesn't have the get into the box on the cross for the support on crosses. I just keep him on balanced again, just so he filters between attack and defence more smoothly, in my opinion. And your cam, again, balanced on everything. You don't really want them to be staying up the pitch, but you don't want them to be, dropping at like a CDM or centre mid, and potentially even switching with one of these. Both your strikers, though, I would keep on getting behind, stay forward, just so you do still have options to counter attack or to start building up attacks. You don't want them to be right back, helping out on defence all the time. Now moving on to the attacking ones, I've got this on press on heavy touch and 5 depth, 5 width. Again, I'm not really playing around with a width to begin with now. I just find if you're going to play press on heavy touch, you need high depth, because then if let's say you have your depth on 3, as you can see by the picture, your team's too far back to actually be able to initiate a press, whereas if you have it on 5 depth, they're always going to be a reasonable, they're not distance away from getting close to press the ball, because you can always press it with one man, but most likely you're going to get passed around with. So if you keep it on a higher depth, you have more people able close to the ball to be able to press. So I find that effective. And then width. Now I've upped this width way up to 7, and you'll see why in a sec when it comes to the instructions, because obviously this is a very narrow formation. You'll want your fullback to be joining the attack. Players in the box, I've kept that on 5 even. Just because, again, I just find if you have them around the penalty spot, so as if I put them to 6, look, you're having more players attacking like towards the goalkeeper, and he'll be easily able to come out and get it. Whereas if you keep him around that penalty spot, you have more chance of being able to just score, in my opinion. Corners, free kicks, like I said, it's preference. So the fullbacks on this, I have balanced attack. So then let's say the ball's on the left side, the left back will run up the pitch, but the right back will stay back. So I find that to be effective as well, because then you're still maintaining like a 4 at the back, because you have your CDM on stay back, not on drop between defenders, because I find that if you have it on drop back, they'll be too far back if you're trying to play a pressing style. So if you have it on stay back, they'll still maintain that CDM position. So for your right centre mid is just completely balanced, and your left centre mid again, you just want to have get into the box for crosses, because obviously if either of the fullbacks get up, you'll have more options in the box. So for your cam, stay forward, get into the box. You don't want your cam even being able to filter back if you want to be able to play a high press. You just want to have them on the stay forward so they maintain that attacking mid roll and get into the box so they're attacking crosses. And then obviously attacking runs is on getting behind, and defensive support stay forward on both your strikers. Now moving on to ultra attacking. Now this one is last attempt pretty much. You could even put constant pressure on, but I've kept the width even on 5, depth of up to 6. You could even up to 7 or 8 if you want, but we'll keep it on 6 for now. Again, if once you lose the ball, you don't want your team to be far back or drop far back. You want to be able to press in numbers, so that's why I keep it on, or that's why I've put it on 6. And then with this, you just have fast build up. You just want to get you want to try and get as many opportunities for you as possible. The counter attack, you don't really want to have to worry about too much. You just want to be able to get the ball up the pitch quickly, and then hopefully you don't lose possession. But if you do, you're able to press after you lose it. The width I have extremely high. I have it on 8, I believe. Yeah, 8 width, and then players in the box 8. As you'll see there, you just have pretty much everyone in the box. You could even put on 9 if you want. You just want to be able to get as many chances as I said. Corners 4, you could even put on 5 if you want. Free kicks 3. Instructions, right. Your fullbacks, you want both to join the attack, because you're just going to want to blitz the wings, and say you have it with your right back, you can easily switch the play through the midfield, and your left back will already be in an attacking position. Obviously centre back stay back. Your CDM, you're going to have drop between defenders, cover centre, because if they're both bombing up the pitch, you're at least going to want a bit of support in defence in case you do, so that will pretty much leave you with a 3 at the back. Your right centre mid, you're going to have on get forward, just so you know that they're making the attacking runs to support the right back as well as the cam. The left centre mid, you're going to have get forward, get into the box. This will basically mean they'll just be pretty much up the pitch all the time. Your attacking mid, I'm not sure why it's on that. It should be on stay forward. You want that your cam to make, just like I said last time, stay forward, don't drop back, and then get into the box. And both your attackers on getting behind, stay forward. Now the full 4-1-2-1-2 bracket 2, it's a very good formation this year in my opinion. The width it really depends how you play. If you like to have width, I wouldn't recommend this formation, but if you like build up play, this is definitely the formation for you. This or the 4-3-1-2. But yeah, very good formation to use this year in my opinion. When I've used it, it's worked very nicely. I'm a fan of the 4-4-2 more at the minute, but this formation is definitely one I'm looking to potentially switch to in time. But yeah, I'm going to jump into some ideal players for some of these positions. So in terms of full-backs, we'll start with the right backs. We've got Kyle Walker, João Cancelo, Ricardo Pereira, Florenzi. I'm not going to try and pronounce that name, I'll butcher it. Bellerin, Wan-Bissaka, Ruben Penna, again, and Saravia. Again, some of them you'll probably recognise from the 4-4-2 if you watch that video. If you didn't, I'll leave a link to it in the description. If not, just check my channel. Again, I'll explain some of them. Kyle Walker, João Cancelo, probably best right backs in the game. Ricardo Pereira, fairly cheapish, alright going forward as well. Florenzi, obviously a great all-rounder, guy very quick. Same with Bellerin. Wan-Bissaka is fantastic if you haven't used him. Now I picked some cheaper options as well. I mean, some of these are cheap, like I know Florenzi's not too much, and so is that guy, but these are also pretty decent, especially this guy. He's got 4-star skill moves and not too bad attacking stats either, and fairly quick. Obviously acceleration lets him down, but 87 sprint speed, pretty decent defensive stats as well. Key stats I'd look out for when getting a right back, I'd say is definitely, for this formation anyway, definitely pace, dribbling, potentially attacking if you want. And one key stat I find this year is defensive awareness. So players like Bellerin 75, Wan-Bissaka 81, I'd say you need at least 75 defensive awareness on your fullbacks, just so you know they're not constantly bombing up. Then these are the left backs I've got. I've got some, again, pretty attacking ones, but also solid in defence. These are just some of the ones I'd recommend. We'll go through them. Renan Lodi, I think, how you pronounce that. Alexandro, Jordi Alaba, Brazilian, Tagliafico, Mendy, Shaw, Gaia, Alex Telles, Angelino, Hakimi, and Firpo. Now these are all, again, very good fullbacks. I'd recommend any of these for your squad, to be honest. Again, defence. Again, it goes for the same as your right back. Mainly pace, defensive awareness, defending stats, potentially attacking, maybe even actually agility and balance is always key for these sort of stats in the game. Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to highlight the CDMs, and then 2 centre mids, cams, and then 2 strikers on who I think would work well in this formation. So here's some of the CDMs which I think would work well in this formation. So obviously Kante, Matuidi, Essie and Fabinho, obviously you can see them all. Now, it really depends on preference of what you want as a CDM. You could have someone small, very agile to intercept the play, break it up, someone like a Kante, potentially even a Torreira, maybe a cheap Kante, something like that. Or you could have, your all-rounder like Essien, still good at going forward, physically strong, good defending stats, stuff like that. Or you could even go with someone, a bit taller, a bit slower, someone who will, who's tall, obviously, like I said, taller, slower, but probably stronger to just, break up the play like a Rodri or Fabinho. So it's all down to preference. But here's some of the options. Obviously, I've given you some of the cheaper options as well you could go with, and then obviously the higher end ones if you've got a bit more money. I really want to try this Essien card out, though. I might have to buy it for my main team. But they're the CDMs. We'll move on to what works well as a right centre mid and left centre mid, because I believe 2 different types of players for both them positions. And then obviously we'll move into the cam and strikers. So what I've done is on the bench I've got players who I feel would be more suited to the right centre mid position, even though some of them would still probably be able to play the left centre mid position well. And on the pitch I've got players who I'd, again, prefer to have on the left side, but again would still probably work on the right side. So starting off on the bench, you've got Rabiot, Vieira, Paulinho, Wijnaldum, Allen, Sal, Herrera and Sissoko. So for this, in my opinion, you just need someone who's got good defending stats, but also can, go forward and join the attack when required to. But you're mainly looking for, your defending, your physical stats, and potentially passing as well, depending how much you want to look into it. Your left centre mid, like I said, you want someone who will be able to get forward, so Havertz is well suited to that. Nainggolan, Van der Beek's a cheap option. I've found him pretty decent when I used him on the draft. Pogba, Aouar, Ali and Goretzka. So these sorts of players as well, you still want them to have decent-ish defending stats, I'd say. Apart from, like, obviously the cheaper you go, the worse probably all-round stats you're going to end up getting. And then Havertz is maybe an exception, but I'd say about 60 plus defending as well on your left centre mid. But it really depends how you want to use them and what custom tactics you're going to rock with. Yeah, these are the sorts of players I'd use for your right centre mid, left centre mid. We'll quickly move on to cams and 2 strikers before we wrap up the video. So in terms of attacking mids, what you want them to be able to do is link up the play, have good dribbling stats, good agility, good balance, stuff like that, and fairly quick. So players I'd recommend are like De Bruyne, Dybala, Royce, Coutinho, Bruno Fernandes, Fekir, Brandt, Lingard, Lanzini. These sorts of players who are good in attack, good dribbling, quick enough, but also very good shooting stats. So yeah, we'll quickly move on to the attackers just now. I forgot to mention quickly, there's also players you could use on the wings and move to central positions, such as Neymar, Hazard, players like that, and they're also fantastic at cams. It really just depends how you start the game and set up the formation. It's all down to preference, like I said, but these are just some examples of specific cams I'd use in this formation. So So again, with strikers, you just want them to kind of do what you've put on the custom tactics. That's really getting behind, stay forward. So you're looking for pace, good shooting, decent enough dribbling, stuff like that. So some examples are Aubameyang, Lacazette, Ben Yedder, Rashford, Muriel, Rodrigo, Werner, Vardy, Inaki Williams, Bakamambu, Malen, Gabriel Jesus, Gamero, Callum Wilson, Rebic. These are just, good players with good shooting stats, decent enough dribbling, good pace. I'd say that, like I said, the key stats I'd go for are pace, agility, balance, and obviously finishing. Players like Ben Yedder are just fantastic on this game, and for example like this, Aubameyang doesn't have the greatest agility and balance, but because his pace is so good, it kind of outweighs it. Like the pros outweigh the cons, that's what you got to weigh up. But also he is a lot more expensive, so someone like a Ben Yedder or Rodrigo or Inaki or even this Bakamambu, who's a fantastic card if you haven't used him yet, are probably your better options if you haven't got that sort of money, or you do but you don't want to throw it all into one player, you want to build a good squad. That makes more sense. But yeah, these are some of the options, and that was the 4-1-2-1-2 bracket 2 formation breakdown. If you did enjoy the video, please do leave a like, comment any ideas you want me to turn into videos, and subscribe if you haven't already.